And welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, Season 2, Episode 12. We're getting through them now. I'm Aaron Bain, joined by my regular co-host, Tommy Javor. Welcome, Tommy.
G'day, Bainey. How are you this week? I've got a bit of a head wobble going on.
Head wobble? Wait till we get to a barbecue, mate. You had the biggest, you like a long shot, $12 they bet Roselli Sting and you weren't on, but I'll just skim over that because we've got a barbecue coming, so you'll keep, mate, all right? But before we start, Tommy, we're at the Manhattan Comfort Inn, back here again tonight. I think this was your first show, so a bit of deja vu for you tonight.
It is. I call the Manhattan Inn. It's a Choice Hotel special, obviously. It's the centre of the universe. 15 minutes to the city, 20 minutes to the beach, 30 minutes to Barossa, the centrepiece of Adelaide.
Centrepiece of Adelaide, your backyard, and you're the last one in tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Any reason for the late rolling?
Extra research.
Extra research. Well, I hope you can find another Tommy impact later
correct,
on.
mate.
But we'll get to that. Don't forget, though, as well as the Choice Hotels, the Prince Albert Hotel Gawler, great supporters. We look forward to getting back out there. Great little pub in the heart of Gawler. You talk about the heart of Adelaide here, or just on the outskirts, we've got Prince Albert Hotel right in the heart of Gawler. But
I've never been there, mate. Really looking forward to popping my cherry and meeting the infamous Barry the Bar.
He's going to shout you a beer, but he needs to bounce back into some form. He's been out on the outer. But time for a little bit of news for the weekend, and we did. You went one way, I went the other. You were in the red corner, I was in the blue corner, and you got me measure on the weekend, Tommy, with the first clash of G-Tra and Sunlight. But
Mug punter getting the job done. It was too good for you, mate, and I was very, very impressive with my G-Char tip. Now, it's very rare, mate.
Like working me too halfway up the straight. You just said, ta-da.
Yeah, and just left you for dead, then looked pretty good in the blue and white sleeves. I think we're going to watch a replay.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick look at the replay now, and we'll just come back and talk about the clash as they lead into the good one.
Sunlight, and here's G-Tra unwinding now, and G-Tra swept to the lead. Went past them, put a length and a half on Sunlight. Home of the Brave, then Viridine and Parsifal. But G-Tra is charging away with the Irwin Stakes. It's all over bar the shouting. G-Tra by 3.5 to Sunlight. Third place, Home of the Brave, photo.
Yeah, no, it was a good little lead in, the RN Irwin Stakes leading into the Goodwood, but I wouldn't count out Sunlight just yet. She'll be better for the run first
good
up.
Horse.
And Tony and Calvin McAvoy, they'll have her ready to bounce back. But that's going to be a good clash throughout the Adelaide Carnival as we lead into that in May. Anyway, while we're on, we talk about the G-Tra. Gordon Richards, his team is just airborne, and even more so with another two runners on Saturday.
Yeah, so it was Garner providing two strong first up. Looked very, very good. Won by 2 lengths. And there's a couple of others worth following, I reckon.
Yeah, no, certainly Xylong. So we've spoke about that on the show many times on this show, out of the strong McAvoy camp, 3 wide the entire, and also Sizzlefly and Rocco Bass Caranara was very good, if that's how you pronounce it properly, or you got a different pronunciation?
No, I was happy with that.
You're not going to have an attempt yourself?
But I'm nervous, Bainey, because I know what's coming. I can see what's coming on the notes here. And
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. All right, Tommy, we stick to script, and it goes news, brews, and barbecues is coming, all right? So, again, you'll keep, mate. And before we get into that, it's time to let's kick straight off with a bit of news on racing. All right, Tommy, we roll over to the news segment in the Racing Show, and the Racing Show brought to us each and every week by the Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club. We thank them for the support. We're out there last week. Good little interview with Shane Collins. I tell you what, I reckon he's hating me at the moment. Every second day I'm dropping him a message, when's the pool opening, when's the pool opening, when's the pool opening. I can't wait for that. That's going to be great, and we look forward to getting back out there. It's always good to catch up with him. But thanks to Punk Club, who bring us news, brews and barbecues, and you've just given a hammering last week with Roselli Sting. News, bit of overseas news, we should say, and we talk about the 2017 Melbourne Cup winner, just for those out there, rekindling back in work.
Yes, who can forget that run in 2017? It was 17-1, ridden by Corey Brown, and it was one of those runs that it grabbed him, it was going, didn't look like it was going to get, and they got him in the last 20 metres, a famous win indeed.
Back in work, so out of the famous and strong Lloyd Williams colours back then, and he's back in work now with Joseph O'Brien. He's a Melbourne Cup stint talk about that. He's a Melbourne Cup stint on the radar again, and he's spent a little bit of time at start, and he's come back. He spent there just after his 3-year-old career when he was injured, but it'd be interesting to see how many overseas raiders and around that spring carnival. Trainers are going to have to start to make some decisions this far out as to, do they travel from overseas and the restrictions around travel as well. Borders still haven't opened back up from New Zealand even, let alone overseas. So it's going to be an interesting couple of months towards the spring carnival.
You want the quality here though, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, we want to beat the best.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And we've seen the quality the other week in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. That was a good clash with the 2 overseas horses there. But, as we said, trainers are going to start to make a decision. We talk about the Cox Plate, and this year, the 2020 Cox Plate was actually going to be the 100th running, for those that didn't know. And, there's always
Rocky's seen them all as well.
Yeah, he is. He's getting on in age, Rock. So, and he might not have many more left if this one doesn't go around as 100. You know, he might be raising the bat here, but cancelling's a big option. You know, but
certainly not the.
It's probably the bigger. You know, outside the Melbourne Cup, and the Melbourne Cup itself is. You know, what should you say? It's everyone stopped, the nation stops to watch the race, but the support races around it are never. They're only. Support races, but Cox Plate Day is probably the best race on over the Spring Carnival. That or Derby Day, and it'll just be a shame, you know, or not if coronavirus does take a big scalp like the Cox Plate in the Spring Carnival. Yeah,
it's Spring Carnival. It's probably a bit before your time, but Graham and the Colonel, a famous skit from the old D Generation boys, around Spring Carnival, they always say, you can smell it in the air. Yeah. The Spring Carnival, there is a sight, a feel, a sound, a vibe, a bit of a Marbo type thing.
You talk about Spring Carnival. I love nothing more, and I was actually shattered when Channel 10 got the rights, and no disrespect to Channel 10 for the Melbourne Cup, but I love Saturday afternoons with Channel 7.
Fairly disrespectful.
Yeah, fairly disrespectful, but I love Channel 7 coverage of the racing, and even now throughout the Autumn Carnival as well. But Cox Plate Day, Melbourne Cup Day, the coverage on Channel 7, you know there's nothing better than spring racing. So it'll be interesting to see those developments play out over the coming weeks.
So you think they're going to go with a evening race? Is that the mail?
So I got no comment on that. Like, and if that you've heard that, like I just think there'll be a lot to play out in the next month or two.
Yep.
With if it actually goes ahead, and we're talking on the chasing segment later. Like the Golden Easter egg, obviously was Easter and put back. You know, originally it was postponed. Now it's just cancelled.
Yep.
We might start to see more and more of that happen.
So a Spring Carnival October for.
Generally
October.
Yeah, October, November.
Yep. Obviously Melbourne Cup in November. It's April. Let's not get too carried away and frantic. There no cases of corona. We're having maybe one case this week, so a lot of days we haven't had cases. We're on the improve.
They might have to move the Cox Plate to Morpheville, mate. Bring
it
over
here. Well, they're talking about bringing all 5 test matches to Adelaide Oval and locking them in a hotel. That'll work just fine. Bring the Cox Plate here. We'll have it all.
Bring it all.
Spring Carnival's
There's even a battle as at MCG or Adelaide Oval in footy at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. I'm just not willing to write it off at this stage.
No, 100%. I hope it goes ahead.
They've taken the royal show away from me. I can't take another hit, mate.
That might be a good thing with you at home with the kids at the moment, mate. You stood down from work. They might dry your pockets clean. But anyway, time for some brews. Now, we talked about the Gordon Richards camp earlier on in the show, and if that stable didn't wake up with hangovers on Sunday, Tommy, they're getting a little too ahead of themselves. Yeah,
look, they were on fire. Obviously, my mates from PNU were involved, and they had 5 running on the weekend. In particular, the great one, G-Tra. So, look, a big shout out. I need to give the boys a bit of a rap because they shared in the 76 grand prize money. So, well done to the McIntosh family. Of course, that's the famous Gary McIntosh, his dad Dennis, wife Zia, and son Dylan, and Taylor probably gets mentioned. Tyson, Billy, Fingers Hunt, Theo, and the man with the girl's name, Kim Nipper Williams. So, well done to all those guys. To be honest, I did ring them on the way here. I said, well, it's in the notes, I better check it. They actually, they did a little bit of a catch up on the old computer, but they couldn't do much, mate. Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure Mac would be across Zoom as a couple of the other owners, but not there especially. But they did ring each other. Very happy and a great day and a beautiful run. So, and look, just on that as well, very interesting story. He was on racing.com this week, Macca. I actually had a crack at you for saying guy trash, and it's pronounced G-Tra. The whole G-Tra thing is actually a myth. I was told by one of their owners tonight that is actually pronounced guy trash, but they didn't like it, so they told everyone it was G-Tra. It's a bit of an inside joke.
See, mate, you hear it first on Racing, Pacing, Chasing. We get it right.
I'm going to question you again.
We get it right.
Yeah, so interesting.
You've blown that out an extra couple of seconds there because it's barbecue time.
Okay, well, turn me page. Barbecue. Throw to Bainey, it says on the barbecue. That's when I'd go.
Tommy's Bainey. Impact.
It's a good segment. Good segment.
Great segment.
Yeah.
You pump your chest, you walk around with a head bobble, you roll in late, you want to take the host seat, you think you're right, you think you're the kingpin of racing, pacing, chasing. And mate, fair and square, you are. You tip Roselli's Sting at $12. That is not my point here tonight. How much have you on it?
Now look, Bainey, at the start...
No, just answer my question.
At the start of the day, you're going to put all your quantities on, you're going to put all your bets on.
Tommy, answer my question. You sent me a screenshot of your account balance after all clear was given on Roselli's Thing, and it had $0 in it and 20 pending bets, right? 20.
Look, we all
how much did Roselli's Sting return for Tommy Javor's Ladbrokes account on Saturday?
Yeah,
Please just confirm.
Yeah, nothing, mate. I didn't have anything on it.
If that isn't the biggest barbecue this show has seen.
Tommy's impact's about the people. Sorry about whacking the night, Mr. Producer, Mr. Cameraman as well. But mate, look, as long as our viewers get the tip and they get the money in the pockets, that's what I'm about. I'm a people person.
I rang Rocky and I just said, mate, this bloke's a genius. Right, I've said it on the group chat we got. I said, your shout for dinner tonight. We're going out somewhere for some takeaway pizza.
One of the choice hotels.
No, and we bought it tonight. And Rocky said, you fixed the bill up, mate? I said, sorry, Tommy has. He said he hasn't had a cent on Roselli's. I'm seriously. Move on. Yeah. Unbelievable, mate. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Tommy's impact this week, and I'll tell you what we're going to do.
I've already put it on. I've actually already bet on it.
No, that's fine. But Rocky's put up $10 this week. Yep. You're in fire. Right? We're going to go to a charity of your choice. Yep. $10 every week to Tommy's Impact #1 bet. All right?
All right.
So you come back to us next week, who it's going to, but there'll be $10 every week on Tommy's Impact segment. We may not have another winner now for the rest of the year if we're backing them, but that's another story.
I could solve world hunger by the end of this year.
I love it. I love the confidence on the man. Anyway, it's time now to tip you some winners. Now, Tommy, before we get on and tip some winners for the punters, and look forward to getting to Tommy's Impact this week. Really do. But the Manhattan, beautiful facility here. We do talk about it. We spoke about it, and there's some footage going over now. Some some great rooms, spacious rooms, beautiful pool out the back. We've got Globe Derby, the Velodrome very close by. You talk about it, the heart of the Barossa. It's only heart of the Adelaide. It's only just on the outskirts, and it's 40 minutes from the Barossa.
Aren't you meant to be jumping in that pool in an alligator suit at some point?
No. You should be, mate. And don't let me get back to Tommy's Impact last week. But anyway.
Carry on.
All right. Beautiful facility here, and you, nice. By all means, get on and support one of their many locations throughout Adelaide. They've been a great supporter of racing, pacing, chasing this year. But it's time now for 3 wide no cover. Right, 3 wide no cover, Tommy, and thanks to our terrific partners again. We speak about them. We can't bring the show without partners, and that is Steve McInerney and his team at MGA Insurance Brokers. Surely, with all that money you'll be carrying out over the next 12 months in the Tommy's Impact segment, you might need some personal insurance. But magazine was disappointing last week.
Yeah, the class rise appeared too much.
Yep.
Probably stick with him. I think there's certainly some potential there. But
Roselli Sting, we've talked about.
Yeah, we'll probably just move on from Roselli Sting. And Poised to Rain is in the nomination, so look out for that. That's a bit of a special from the producer. He's a big fan of
he doesn't mind. But another one that actually did come up on Tommy's Impact last week.
It certainly did.
We didn't tell you about it, but you tipped really 3. We threw Roselli Sting in there. The other 2 ran very close seconds. Skillful Steps, one of those.
Yeah, from the Richard Jolly barn. Again, it was I call it a fancy, not a certainty. I thought it would run well. It hadn't won in 9 starts. Now, mate, I actually went down on the weekend and I was on it. I think it's East Terrace there. He drew so wide, I was actually able to feed him a carrot before the race. It was barrier 17, simple as that. Talking about 3 wide, no cover. He was real wide the whole trip. The last 400, very, very impressive. And you watch it run. I think we'll see some footage. You're watching it run to the line.
Were you on East Terrace before or after Roselli Sting, mate?
Leave Roselli Sting alone. But look, here, there's been the odd hard luck story in racing. It's been beaten by 120 to 1 pop. 120 to 1. How do you tip that? It's a really distinct run when we do watch the footage. It's wearing blue with beautiful yellow sleeves. I think we join in at the 1 minute 40 mark of this race when it's the penultimate horse. That's word of the week, penultimate horse coming around the bend, or second to last, and geez, what a run.
Let's watch it flash.
Roselli Sting's powering down the middle. There's no Char Rossa. Giglon's dropped right out, but Francis Boy kept going. Roselli Sting, handsome return, try hard. Roselli Sting goes to Francis Boy and possibly got there. Roselli Sting or Francis Boy in a photo. Handsome return. Burt Whistle, Epidemont, both close strongly. From
Skillful Step, stick with it. Tommy's he'll keep talking about it over the weeks, and when it does win, look out. But time now for Barry the Barfly. Barry, he's been out of form, but this week there is no bigger clash in racing. We talk about G-Tra and Sunlight last week. There is no bigger clash this week, Tommy. It's Barry versus Butterworth.
Barry versus Butterworth. I'll tell you what, the battle of the old stages here. Now, Barry likes Jacobite Prince.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Jacobite Prince? Yep. Again, I'm spoon-feeding it for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a Barry fan, get on it. It's race 7, number 5 at Morphettville. Dylan Kaboosh is on board. I did try and contact Dylan. Thanks for getting back to me, Dylan. He didn't. But... But
mad name dropper this one.
He doesn't. I don't know him. So he is up against Poised to Rain. So Rocky likes Poised to Rain. Barry likes Jacobite Prince. Who do you think's going to win?
I'm going with Barry, mate.
Sorry?
I'm going with Barry. I sent our our owner, our producer, our boss man a message the other week. I said, I got Punt Club this week. I've got $40 to spend for the boys. Tip me into one. I was out early. I had nothing left to spend, mate, so I'm going with Barry.
I had a look at race 5, and there's a lot of horses, a lot of good horses in the field, and I don't think either of them are going to be right this week. I'll take the field.
You got the field in that league. Anyway, stick with Barry. It's going to be a good clash this week. Time now for Let It Ride. Let It Ride. This is our, talk about penultimate. That's our word of the week, penultimate. This is the penultimate segment to Tommy's Impact, and I'm really looking forward to Tommy's Impact, the charity bet. This week, Tommy, you got Night Express as, that was last week's selection, Night Express, trained by Henry Dwyer, but what do you found this week?
You'd say Night Express deserves another chance. We will let that one ride, but this week, we could have picked easily, we could have gone with G-Tra or Guy Trash, but I think we've touched on that enough. Garner looked fantastic out of the Gordon Richards. What we are going to move on to, though, is this one's a bit of a country cult hero. It's named One More Jack. It's trained by Shane Oxdale. It was ridden... Oxlade, yes. That dyslexia, I'm sorry, mate. It's ridden by country jockey Justin Potter. It had won its last 5 starts in great fashion down at Port Lincoln. It went up in grade in Morphettville. I watched this race today. It absolutely gave everything else not a chance. It had the rail, was in the yellow cap, and a bit of a maroon and yellow, real pretty body-coloured type operation there. Very impressive.
Let's take a look.
Tequila Time with One More Jack. They move a couple clear. Awake in Grinzing. Street Life's winding up behind them. Skildora wider out. One More Jack beat off Tequila Time. Kept going Jack. One More Jack's clear. Awake in Grinzing into second. But One More Jack, how good's he going? That's 6. 6 on the trot for Jack. One More Jack from Awake in Grinzing.
One More Jack. It's time. Tommy's Impact.
Oh, I tell you what. Skillful steps, what a run. G-Tra, I told you to put the house on it, got the job done. Roselli Sting, I'll never discuss again. But this week, you know what I am, Bainey? Do you know what I am?
You're a man of the people.
People, thanks for listening. I'm like the 2 things on the coat of arms. I'm like the kangaroo and the emu because I don't go backwards. I only go forwards, and it's time to move forwards. And it's tougher this week. I searched far, I searched wide. But I'm heading to Rosehill, race 6, the Blacktown Workers Highbury Guineas. So, and I'm telling you again, 10 each way. If you put 10 each way on every tip I've given you this year, you'd be up by plenty now. It's called, got it? It's called IndyCar. Tommy Berry's on board. It's won its last 2. I got on it today just so I don't forget to tip it. I got on at $6.50, so there's a bit of value. It was on the 3rd line of betting at the start of today. Today, of course, is Wednesday, sorry. We do record during the week because it takes a lot of time to put this show together. It's moved from 3rd line of betting to 2nd line of betting. It's going for its 3rd in a row. It's the biggest race it's got.
It's had Tommy Javor's money on it. It's gone from the 3rd line to the 2nd line of betting from $10.50 into 5. The money's come for it.
Yeah. And it will come on Friday evening once this goes to air. But I'm only going to give the one Tommy's Impact tip this week. Count funds are a little low. It's all going to go on IndyCar. Race 6. Don't know what number it is. The only query, it's carrying a bit of weight, but I think it's going to be okay. It's going to get there. And
not a bad one having Tommy's Impact carrying a bit of weight, mate.
Horse after my own heart. And speaking of Tommy's Impact, just having a little impact on the racing industry. Of course, I've jumped onto Aaron Bain Racing Syndicates,
yes,
and I just want to welcome the 12 members of our little sub syndicate we've got from the Pain and Punters Club, and of course the SANFL, the South Australian National Football League.
They're all jumping on board trying to get their friends in too now. It's all sold out.
Today we had to turn a couple away. So look, thanks to Froggy, Pipe, Scoop, Stump. I could go on and on. Yeah. Ian, Chris, Paddy, Phil.
Don't miss one out here, mate.
I'm under a bit of stress now, but welcome aboard. We're really going to enjoy being part of it, Aaron, and thanks for inviting us.
Great concept, and we'll talk more about that on the pacing segment in weeks to come, and we might have to have a little side interview with the 12 members of the Tommy Javor Syndicate.
You get us a win, mate, and we'll throw you a party.
Tommy, you are the man of the people. You've delivered tonight.
We'll see.
We'll forgive you of Roselli Sting if you can put $65 in the kitty to a chosen charity next week. Rocky's already gone. He sorted it out. Thanks for joining me this week. It's been a pleasure. I've been waiting all night, all since Saturday, really, to barbecue you. I got off my chest, right? I actually asked to bring the show forward this Monday, but I let it go. It's been a pleasure to have you alongside me again tonight.
Always a pleasure, mate. Thanks for getting me out the house.
Thanks, viewers. Thanks, sponsors. And we'll be back this time next week with Racing, Pacing, Chasing.